Hi, Andrew.
Hey JD, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. Thanks for joining this pod today. I mean, welcome.
Yeah, really excited to dive into what we have brewing, the collaboration here.
Oh, yeah, we are too. I mean, we are trying to add a new session in entrepreneurship journey, and then we'll explore. I mean, in terms of how this entrepreneurship learning is evolving every day. The way it's happening since I remember that during dot-com era, that's a long time back. That time the entrepreneurship started, and those dot-com internet bubble started,
Hmm.
and it was very tough time though. I mean, and since then all this entrepreneurship took a, I mean, lots of turbulence since then, but still going on. That's the beauty of it.
It's no, absolutely. I don't have quite as long of a as much experience, quite as a reflection of recollection of those times, but yeah, since I've been in the ecosystem for about 6 or 7 years now. It's things have been evolving, changing. We're in a crazy time right now globally, just with between the pandemic and the way the economy is shaping up. And yeah, never been a better time to be an entrepreneur, and there's never been a better time to teach and learn entrepreneurship, right? And so yeah, I think we are into something pretty important right here.
Oh yes, and it's become more. I mean, it's become a more important since once you look at it, the kind of ventures nowadays, it's a global ventures, and then we have a global teams. So unless you have those kind of learning in picture, I mean, it's very difficult to give a scalability to your venture. And we have a different kind of challenges. I mean, it's not a routine challenges what we had it in 19th century. In
Nope.
21st century, all the businesses going globally, and then work is carried out at the five shores, and and the five teams are working together, and definitely that needs a very very different kind of learning.
Yeah. And one of the things that we see over here in the States, but I think agreed globally, is that you know, in the last 2 decades, since the dot-com bubble, just with the explosion of the, call it the knowledge economy, the internet economy, it's really only been 15 years, 20 years since Facebook. Uber is only 10 years old, right? Like some of these technologies that we take for granted are actually pretty young, pretty new. And there's just been this like massive explosion in all these technologies and all these startups, all these new entrepreneurial opportunities. But and what I see is there's just like this massive draw, right? So we have all these professionals doing their jobs, making a living, working in tech, working in IT, working in banking, working in consulting, anything. And now what they see on the horizon, it's not even the horizon, it's not far away. What they see right next door is this opportunity to build something. And you're right, it's different than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Sometimes it's big startups like the next Uber, the next Airbnb. Sometimes it's small businesses, right? Like a new kind of agency or a new kind of solopreneur opportunity. So yeah, it's never it's a unique time, right? And I think with everyone jumping into entrepreneurship, it's overdue. It's overdue to create something that like what we're creating, which is a place for entrepreneurs to go and get their start, learn the first things first, learn the 101 and the advanced topics of how to start a business. So yeah, I'm that's a lot of what we're seeing in the ecosystem.
So here you go. So now we have Andrew from day one, and then we are talking about entrepreneurship learning, and then how Longun Labs is basically shaking hands with day one to take this to our community back in India, and leverage all those resources to Indian startup systems as well. And I'm Jaideep here. I'm from Longun Labs, and we are further going to discuss about how I mean about the day one, and what is the journey of a day one, and how is it going there in ecosystem.
Yeah. So let me give you I'd love thanks for the introduction. I'm excited to tell you about day one. Excited for this partnership and the ability to collaborate and reach the ecosystem over in India. I already said I'm Andrew. I'm the founder and CEO of Day One. Day One is a community and a learning platform for entrepreneurs. And we started back in 2020. We started in the summer of 2020, which, if you remember, seems like a decade ago, but it was the beginning of the pandemic, the kind of height of the pandemic when, at least in the US, there was so much turmoil, right? People were leaving their jobs, or jobs where people were getting laid off. People were going remote. People were leaving cities. Of course, there was the actual pandemic and the turmoil and the cultural zeitgeist. People were needing both a place to come together virtually that was real and authentic, but there was so much energy around building, around starting new things to solve some of these challenges that were cropping up fresh out of, in a lot of ways, they weren't new challenges, but they were rearing their ugly head, right? Our infrastructure was being taxed. Of course, the healthcare system was being taxed. And so there was this energy. It's when Mark Andreessen at A16Z wrote, "It's time to build." And everyone just took that as the call. Like, it's time to build, it's time to build. So we launched Day One, that was 2.5 years ago, as this hybrid, one part community of entrepreneurs, especially aspiring entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, people who had never been full-time founders before, but were ready to jump in, with a learning platform, a platform that is teaching entrepreneurship in a way that isn't boring and dry, that isn't just like a business school. It's highly interactive, highly engaging, and really focused on startups and what does it take to launch a new small business and grow it into something meaningful. And so, yeah, it's been 2 years. We've helped hundreds of founders. We've had an awesome handful of founders from India who join at different time zones and kind of bring their culture and their connections. And so we have this global presence, Day One, but we've never made a kind of concerted effort focus to jump into a new geography and a new ecosystem. And so that's what this collaboration is about. And it's really exciting for us to take what we've been building for years and now apply it to a local ecosystem and with a partner that has their hands into the local community, and to build something new, building on these foundations. And we'll see where this goes. But yeah, that's Day One. We're this learning ecosystem, this platform for entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs. You could still have your day job and jump in. That's a really good use case because you don't know what you don't know until you get started, right? Or you could be an entrepreneur in the middle. I call it the messy middle, right? And you don't know. It's confusing. It's lonely. It's hard. And you just need people around you. You need support. You don't necessarily need to go back to square one, but you need this ecosystem to accelerate you. And so Day One really covers both bases because that's what the kind of like supportive culture of the community is built around. So yeah, I'll stop there because I want to kind of talk obviously about how it's collaborating, what the programs are coming up. But yeah, that's a bit of an introduction to Day One, what we've been building.
Very fantastic. I mean, it's good to know that how you guys, could help, the entrepreneurs or aspiring, entrepreneurs. In fact, on the similar line, the Longun Labs here is a brainchild of industry veterans, who worked in industry last couple of decades. And we come from a background of the legacy applications, building exercises. Now we see a need of then how these applications could go to the next generation applications, the new format. We are talking about the one experience, the clicking experience, and now we are talking about beyond clicking experience, somehow the meta experience or something like that. How the solutions can be built on those, the new generation solutions. So there we are also helping our community to think beyond the click, positions, and so they can bring the very new forms of solutions in the same industry, we are talking about the use of blockchain beyond the the financial systems, because blockchain this is very popular in financial systems. So we are thinking then we are sharing these lots of input to the new entrepreneurs in terms of how they can look forward for their ideas to add values in terms of bringing a new generation systems in place. So and definitely our community need more experience from from the day one background, and where we can have the hybrid environment and they can learn, because anyway these systems are basically targeting the global audiences, going forward.
Yep.
So that would be and the global community, they would like to learn and engage and things. I'm sure this would.
Well, what I was going to, I love that kind of tee up, because what we've always kind of known about Day One is that, it's new technologies are being developed every day, and they're growing more and more powerful. Everything you're saying is more true today than it's ever been, right? With all these new technologies, all the new ways that someone can build and innovate in any industry, right? Pick your industry, pick your technology, there's something to do, right? So there's never been a better time. Technology is more ready to disrupt than ever before. Check, right? There's never been more, frankly, more capital, more access to customers, right? You build it, you can go sell it on Facebook, you can go sell it on LinkedIn. There's so many platforms and like I said, technologies that are taking the cost and effort and really enabling all sorts of new things. But what's missing, what we've always found is missing, is the connective tissue, right? The way that two people come together to collaborate and build something, or the way that one person asks a group, the community, a question and gets 10 answers, so now they go forward, right? Like all this stuff is out there, but it's everything that's like interconnecting that we've known is missing. And if you look at places like Silicon Valley, right? San Francisco, Silicon Valley, they've gotten it right. There's a connective tissue in certain locations. New York City is growing. I'm sure there's cities in India that have that like buzz, but it's very contained. It's not distributed. And that's what we do, right? We say, why is it so exclusive and insular? Why isn't this available to everybody? Right. And that's another reason why we were excited to partner, because we want to take what we've been building and multiply it into a huge market and a huge ecosystem. And that is the community that you've been building over there in India.
Yes, lovely. And see, as we are shaking hand for these very two programs which are coming up in January, I think the third week, right? The last week
coming
up now,
yeah.
23rd. So I'm very excited to know about these two programs, and if you can just give a little more highlight on these programs, and possibly this could help us, our community, to take very informed decision to look, part of it.
Perfect, definitely. So the first program is the Day One Fellowship, and this is the flagship program that we've been running since 2020. So for 2.5 years, we've run a dozen cohorts of this program, always iterating, always evolving, but always enhancing this program in the community. So the community now is over 500 entrepreneurs strong. What we do in this program is it's a 6-week program where we bring together a small cohort of entrepreneurs who are, like I said, in that early stage, right? They're all looking to get a boost, whether it's to get a kickstart from the very beginning or to get accelerated in the middle. And they join together, the messy middle, and they join together. Fine. They join together into this cohort that we bring together, and we walk them through. We walk you through as an entrepreneur a curriculum to not just, the way I think of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial education is that it's like learning a sport where, if you watch, I don't actually know much about cricket, right? But I assume once if you started to teach me about cricket, there's probably a very few things that someone needs to get right? A few principles, and there's 100 rules, but there's a few things that make somebody really good. They do the basics super well. That's true of basketball, right? It doesn't matter everything that's going on. Very simple fundamentals, right? I have that philosophy about entrepreneurship, which is that at the basics, at the foundations of being an entrepreneur are these fundamentals that you just need to deepen your expertise and practice and take the simple idea and iterate a dozen times, maybe 100 times to get your idea to where it needs to be. And so we walk you through those processes. These are things like nailing your business model, finding product market fit, building a pitch deck, pitching into an audience, core motions that you'll do on repeat while you build your business. And then you do it inside of this community. So you can go to the website and see the curriculum, the specific topics that we teach, the types of entrepreneurs that are in the community, the types of mentors and speakers who join to come teach. And it's this it's a boot camp. It's a boot camp for entrepreneurship, right?
Mhm.
And so that's the day one fellowship. That's the first program that we're running, January 23rd. I think it's our 12th cohort of this program. The second program that you mentioned is actually our newest program. So the oldest program and the newest program happening all at the same time. And this one is really special because we're running it with a partner, another partner, Vaynerchuk. We're actually running this.
Okay.
So if you don't know what Gary Vaynerchuk, you should. Gary V, he goes by.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So Gary V. So Gary V's, famous, an entrepreneur. He's got a he's been building all sorts of businesses for decades, and he has a holding company called VaynerX. He has basically all these all the leaders inside of VaynerX have all these different expertise, right? They have expertise in Web3, they have expertise in sales, they have expertise in investing. And what we've done is we've built a program called the Leadership and Operations Bootcamp. And so this is a program specifically to learn the VaynerX style of leadership and operations, meaning we're taking those lessons, those habits, those tactics, those strategies that make Gary Vee and VaynerX successful, and then turning them into a curriculum and teaching them over 6 weeks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
we have a partnership with VaynerX. Gary Vee is an investor in day one, and we're building this program to basically teach what he does and what they do day in and day out. And so 2 different programs. I don't usually get to talk about them next to each other, but you could do both. That would be
okay.
a lot. But the fellowship is for you as a founder who are like, I want to double my progress. I want to go 6 months of progress in 6 weeks. The leadership bootcamp is for you who says, I want to level up my my skill sets, right? I'm a professional, I'm an entrepreneur. I might be a 30-year veteran, right? But I want to learn about I want to learn from Gary Vee, right? So you could be a 30-year veteran, you could be a board member, you could be a VC, you could be anybody who wants to level up and learn from Gary Vee and the VaynerX is what they call it, approach to how they do business. That's the VaynerX Leadership and Operations Bootcamp. So both of those are happening at the same time frame. They're both 6 weeks. They both happen on January 23rd. And should we talk about the India chapter specifically? What the
yes, please.
is unique about it? Okay, so this is a long sales pitch, but this is the crux of it, right? So we're running these programs. This is our business. This is what we do in building this community in these programs. Partnering with Longun Labs, we're creating the India chapter. And the India chapter is going to be a India time zone and India community specific chapter, a portion of the community where you'll be able to take part in the programming, both the kind of US based programming, it's virtual, as well as specially designed sessions. So we're going to take the curriculum and take the programming and duplicate it for you in the IST, India time zone, so that it's time zone specific, so that the community that you're joining, it's the best of both worlds. You can join the local community over I know India is large, right? So the local community over in your side of the world, as well as the global community that is day one, right? So it's really 2 special things. It's the core, everything about day one multiplied and delivered specially for the India time zone community to make it so that these programs are just a perfect fit for the Indian entrepreneur and the Indian ecosystem.
And as we discussed, we are giving a lot of support to these guys as well, to in terms of personalized support, in terms of their queries or some kind of any questions they have. Or
Right,
any,
right. I should have mentioned that part
oh,
of the sessions that we run in both programs are very hands-on, right? Very interactive. And so we're bringing in mentors and experienced entrepreneurs and experienced investors from the India and South Asia ecosystem to participate and to be the, like you said, answer those questions, be the mentors in the room. The way we run these programs, again, it's not like your traditional college course or business school course, right? It's a little bit of teaching, but a lot of hands-on networking, collaborating with these experienced investors, listening to these practitioners with decades of experience. And so, yeah, we're going to bring in kind of local advisors and mentors to really add that local India flavor to the day one programming.
so it's like learning a cricket from a best batsman, best bowler, best fielder, and then all the people who are real time. I mean, who are doing a job, and they can give you the experienced real time advices rather than theoretical
Absolutely.
advices how it can work.
I
Right?
mean, I think learning a sport is still a good analogy, because if you just learn it from a book or from a YouTube, you don't really know it, right? You have to play, right? And you want to play with your peers, and you want to play with somebody who's really good, right? And maybe you don't need somebody who's really good all the time, because that's you just got to keep getting your reps in, right? But you need someone to correct your form, right? You need somebody to give you advice on, good strategy on how to do these things, right? And so if I don't learn about cricket during this program, I think it's a failure. I absolutely hope to actually learn from the ecosystem.
Yeah, it's a learning for everyone. The value, we have one great guy. I mean, Rabindranath Tagore, and he used to say, is a very famous saying that whenever you want to learn, start teaching. So you
That's
learn
so right.
more. That's right.
That's so right. That's so right. And we encourage that, because it's my belief. It's one of my most fundamental beliefs is that everyone has something to teach their peers, right? And so when you get a community of people together, if you just everyone brings something to the table. And so somebody might be a technical expert and they should be teaching that, right? And somebody else might be a marketing expert, or somebody else might be a salesperson, or somebody else might be, who knows, right? Everyone has these expertise. And then along the way, you pick up those different pieces and you bring them back and forth. And absolutely, if you're not putting it into practice, you're like a wannabe, right? We don't want entrepreneurs. We want entrepreneurs. We want real founders, or we want to help people become real founders. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
that's about right.
Very well, very well. And I'm sure that this would really help our community here, and then we are going to support them in terms to get the the entire the best value out of these two programs, and we'll be giving them a lot of support in terms of office hours, the session what we kept it in general, and then mentors and the other support, and from both the programs, as you just mentioned it, one for already people who have a good skills and they can probably enhance it, and the other is for in case if something is the aspiring founders, or the new guys, or middle somewhere they're stuck and they can just restart it.
It's about
6 weeks.
Every founder knows what it feels like to get stuck, right?
Yes.
And this is about getting unstuck, and not just in 6 weeks, but because you're part of the community down the road, right? It's the gift that keeps on giving. You have these connections and these relationships. I mean, it honestly, the connections are probably, every piece of it is valuable, is super valuable, right? The teaching, super valuable. The collaboration, super valuable. But the connections, the fact that you're just going to know dozens and have access to hundreds of people when you have a question, when you have a need. Again, that's almost, it's hard to put a price on that, because 5 years from now, 2 years from now, you'll be tapping into this. And, it's what you make of it, right? If you just sit there and don't talk to anybody, you're not going to get anything out of it. But if you put the work in, this can be a game changer, right? And we have all sorts of people in day one who lean in, who leverage it, who have built relationships, who have been co-founding businesses together, starting businesses, and just helping each other out. So yeah.
Oh yes. Oh, yes, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I would not surprise if, I mean, two guys from different shows, they just shake hands and maybe build something, and crossbreed the solution out of it. Then that would be really, something what I'm just looking forward in terms
Me
of,
too. Me
from these
too.
two programs, right? And well, that's a very good information. Unless you would like to add something more, Andrew, from your side, or
No, I think we covered it all. I'm just really excited to welcome the Lungo Labs community and the broader ecosystem into day one. I know, like I said, we've already had people from the Middle East, people from India, people from Europe, people from South America. There's already a global spice to day one, and doing this with in the region and kind of really focusing is just like a really natural thing and just really exciting for us. So yeah, I hope to see a lot of you in day one coming up in the next just in a few weeks when we kick off on January 23rd.
sure, we'll do that. I mean, lots of entrepreneurship learning. We are going looking forward for it from the day one, and we are very excited along with our community.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, JD. Thanks for having
All right.
me.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right. Talk
Thank you
soon.
very much. Yep. See you.